Todd Owens, and I'm the lead level designer on the EndWar project. I started as a designer back at NovaLogic, working on Comanche Gold and some other flight sims, and then moved on to the original Delta Force. And then from there, just went over to EA, working on Red Alert, then Yuri's, then Generals, then Battle for Middle-earth, and so I have that's the background I came from, and then came here to Ubisoft to work on this.
We started EndWar by having in mind all of those specific locations, like everybody knows that we're going to have Paris, we're going to have Moscow, and all of those specific capitals. We needed the people to be able to recognize those places.
We really wanted to make the game feel very, very realistic, based on the real world, to have everything be recognizable. And really the best tool we could do for that, for some of the levels like Paris, Washington, D.C., the big cities that are in our game, was to actually choose the section of the city that we wanted to use, and then we could go to Google Earth and get a copy that looks straight down on that part that we want, and then we could just make sure that all of the landmarks that you see are there, all the major roads that you would normally see are there, and so it became a real, almost like the first draft of our level designs was a Google Earth map.
But then we started having problems because fighting in those cities was not really easy for the player. We had to make some modification on the different levels so that it still looked like the real place, but it feels good playing in it.
The difference between a gameplay city and a real world city is that in a real world city you have lots of back alleys, you have side areas, you have all the different things that make up a city. And in our game, generally, if we try to put in every single building in the right place, if we tried to put every fire hydrant in the right place, all of that sort of thing, then this map's become really too crowded or sometimes too empty, depending on the location and where it is, to actually have good gameplay there.
If you watch two players play the PvP map, then if you saw always a strategy, that strategy always wins, then this is a problem, which means the map is balanced. And I guess the most important thing to making a game that you have a human player against another one, it is just the most important stuff is to get the map balanced.
One example where we choose to change the layout to fit the gameplay is like in Moscow, for an example. The streets in Moscow, there's this big plaza in Moscow that is really large, which was fine, but all the street around was a little bit too tight, and we had to enlarge them a little bit so that it feels clearer.
And so we had to do things like, instead of having two streets, we might have one street.
Plus, at the end, we just realized that there was too much empty space, and so this map was really vehicle-friendly map. So we had to block some roads, create some excavation there and there. So we had to change the landmark. Even if it's close to the reality, it's not exactly the reality. We had to change some part of it. And anyway, it's in 2020, so I think that we can change a little bit of stuff.